Hello, good evening and welcome. That's if I'm going yet. I'm a little bit early, thanks to our village clock on the church. Strikes 5 minutes early at the moment. We can only be grateful it's not striking 13. It's done that before now. Sure, we've got devil worshippers in the village somewhere. Hang on, it's not me, is it? I denounce Beelzebub and all his tiny elves. Something like that. Anyway, who's in the house? Is Ireland in? Am I coming through Ireland? I'm getting a mick hovering somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe valleys. I've got 3 showing anyway. Well, what have folk, whoever's in about, fortnight? What have folk been up to this weekend? Hello, Bellies, and hello, Mick. Good to have you along. I thought you two would be in. You're usually waiting at the door for pub to open. Have you been up to anything good? Because I've been proper lazy. I've done shopping, a bit of shopping this weekend. I've defrosted my fridge, got rid of old food that were in it. Well, it's empty really compared. I might stock it when I get paid. Stock my freezer again. Oh yeah, I saw your fire truck. That looks good, Mick. I think you were fire truck I saw. I've seen some you've posted today. Good jobs. I'm part way through a Jaguar XJ6. I've resprayed it red. Well, I polished all the chrome areas first with my Dremel and Solvo. Primed it, sprayed it red. Scraped all the chrome areas off, lacquered it, so it's got some lacquer over the die cast so it doesn't oxidise. And it's looking good today. And I closed one of the doors and the lacquer snagged on the paint and it's took some of the red off. So I'm not stripping it and doing a complete paint job. I think I'll just touch up the red. So that I get fed up. For how good the rest of the paint job is, because it's a large scale jag, I'm not stripping it. Oh, cool Valley's a bit of maintenance. Yeah, it's been nice today. I mooched round to my local shop at one point. Got some ice cream and some Coca-Cola to make an ice cream float. And have with me tea tonight with me strawberries. It's been a devastating weekend. I bought a big box of strawberries yesterday. My village butchers. And they're perishable, so I've had to eat them all over the weekend. It's been hard. It's been bloody delicious. They was spot on. Oh, down to Barry. Hey, what's your opinion of Gavin and Stacey, the very last one? I'm not a fan, like. I don't, never even watched it really, to be honest. But I'm intrigued to find out what happened on the camping trip. It's got me. Wow, that must be neat. Uncovering. Tell you what, my brother lives not far off your valleys. My brother lives in Pontypool. I've been over to Barry with him and Cardiff and stuff. Well, no, tell a lie. The last time I went to Barry must have been 76, 75, 76, 77, around that era. It was when my brother got married anyway, and he were in the army till 78, 79, because he married a Welsh girl. We were a pen pal with her in the army, and he went to meet her. So you could really say that were like Gavin and Stacey. Said me brother were a northerner. Like when they first got wed, they come up here. I'll have to wait till that moves up to see what you've written proper. There's a love heart over what you've written. Eastern end of a call, I get you. Yeah, it's got to remember modern people don't necessarily remember, but Wales were a very big mining area, mining and steel. My sister-in-law's my sister-in-law's dad, bless him, worked in the steel works, and he died with problems with lungs in the hard days before they bothered with health and safety. Get up! Get up! Do you mean me being down here like that, Valley? Like a Chad? I wouldn't mind. I've not even had an hard week this week. Not even had an hard week. I've just had 3 days off. I'm going in tomorrow. Then I've got 4 days off. And I've saved so many holidays. I've not had my holidays first part of the year till now. So I've booked them now. So from now till December, I'll only be part-time staff. I'll be taking all my time mowing. I've got a week's holiday every month. 2 weeks in December. So in December, I'll be in for a total of 6 days. And about 3 or 4 of them will be Christmas cover. Yeah, me neither. I've only just booked it the other day, Valleys. My first days are going to be end of this month. I'm going to have to swap, and end of this month. Have to swap with one of the girls tomorrow. Swap a day off, or tell them she's agreed to swap the day because I'm going to a concert. I won't be standing up front near ramps nowadays. I'll be at the back where I can prop something up or whatever. Might even be looking if I can take beer in. Just say, well, yeah, man, chilled. It's all right, just working out if it's paint or food. Could be either. Such a slob. I get you, Valleys. Yeah, get up. It's the sort of thing I do, that. Yeah, so this rest of the year, I've had an hard beginning of the year. So the rest of the year is now going to be easy. I'm going to have an easy summer leading up to easy Christmas. Can't fault it. Part of it will be going Portugal. Yay! Oh, watching that made me chuckle the other day. An American guy had a pet ground dog. Not ground dog, prairie dog. He had a pet prairie dog and he went, morning to it, and it went, woohoo! It stood up on its back legs and went, woohoo! Wow. Get your skates on, Vallis. Get your skates on. We're only here so many years. I'm amazed I don't get deported, to be honest. Last time I went abroad, I were photographing dwarves in gay bars. I'm saying nothing. My mates were, you can't do that. I were photographing the pole dancers outside the bars. Happy days. I had a laugh with one of them. I weren't entirely sure if that were a bird or not, though. I went to my mate, I reckon that's an he-she. Pretty convincing, though, got to admit if it were. If it weren't an he-she, it were a rough chick. Yeah, met her in a bar down in Oso. Lola. Hello, Lola. I was learning to play that. How are they? Lola, yeah. I'll tell you what, Mick, years ago, I were out drinking with my mates, and there's a pub, and it's rough end of town. I'm surprised this person were drinking there. But I walked past and I clocked it with a bloke dressed as a woman, and if you weren't looking, like squinting, Pretty convincing from the backlight. Anyway, my mate's at the bar, and he said, "You just walked past her." I said, I think she's got her eye on you, John." And he goes, "You are?" I said, "Get her a drink and go over and have a chat with her." So he gets half a lager, he walks over with a pint and half a lager, and he goes up to her, and he goes, "Excuse me, madam." And he turns round and like, to be polite, he stopped, credit to him, to be polite, he stopped talking for about 2 minutes. Then he come back and he went, "You wanker, you knew, didn't you?" Of course I did. Of course I did. Why do you think I sent you? Bless him, poor John. I did all sorts like that with him. Poor sod. It were all character building stuff. Great fun. See, a lot of, and no harm done, but a lot of people weren't being nasty about it, right? Just having fun. And people nowadays are just getting too uptight about everything. A lot of them have forgotten what actual fun's about. I blame the mobile phone, to be honest. People aren't learning how to react with each other and interact with people. You certainly can't go out and have the nights we used to have. We a groupie all round chatting and singing songs with each other together that come on jukebox. Them nights have long gone. Like you go out for a night now and you'll have, if you've got a group of 5, you'll have 3 of them sat on a mobile. Like one of them, like you probably don't get on with anyway. So you're like, I can't wait for this night to end to get home. Like I don't know, the mobile phones wrecked interaction between people. It does have a lot to balance. It's good in some ways, like if you I love going seeing live music in pubs, valleys. It's good fun watching the shit bands. What's not to be liked about live entertainment? People going out their way, getting up on stage and singing. I enjoy the good ones. I've seen good ones. I've seen bad ones. I used to take one of me before I worked where I'm working now. I used to work in community with learning difficulties and disabilities. And I used to take one lad I worked with. I took him out every Saturday to a Catholic club, like a working man's club. And they had an act on every Saturday. So I had a sandwich with him, met his friends, chatted to his friends, listened to the act, took him home about 10:30, 11, popped him into bed, then pissed off home. Happy days. He were a nice little number, that, with that lad. He were a good lad to get on with as well. Bless him, passed on now, but what a fantastic lad he were. I used to have an hoop working with him. Yeah, he used to be. He used to be dead cheeky with women. Funny. He used to laugh at Lou and Andy, Little Britain. He'd said, "That's us, that is." I fell. Yeah, I know. Oh, well, that one, wasn't that one? And he even laughed at that, and that was him to a T. Never forget him. One morning, he said, what's for breakfast? I said, "I've got you yogurt and stuff." He says, "Oh, I don't fancy your yogurt." He says, "It's cold." He said, "Can you microwave it for me?" I said, "Fuck off microwaving a yogurt." Oh, they had different ways of thinking. Fantastic days. Anyway, we know about Valley's wonky track, and we know about mixed wagons. Anybody else done out this weekend? All I can say is I've been putting top coats of lacquer, and as per usual for my normal turn of events, I screwed up. I was going to do a video today. I might do it. Might do it Tuesday now. Good evening, Raymond. Good to see you along. Yeah, because I've got another little Hornby 040, and it's another absolute eBay bargain. It was under a tenner, so I'll probably just do a small service video on it while I'm working out a bigger video. I might do another one on the paint series, because I plan going in depth on the painting series one. I want to actually paint Payday. I want to get a set of, the plastic drawers, and start putting my paints in. I've got paints breaking out all over. I've got custom paints for my die-cast channel. Most of Citadel's range for me. Citadel figures, Vallejo. I've got sets everywhere. Black and white. Rich or poor. World Cup prices, let us go. Shifters. Old and new wood effects. That's one of the figures sets. Candy inks. I've got World War II aircraft sets down there. British military vehicles, and they're all useful on model railway. They all have. Oh, fuck a duck. That's a load I'll have to put back in the box. In the words of Frank Gallagher, scatter. Oh, brilliant. Mentioning that, valleys, there's two Great Western auto coaches for sale at my local preservation. I think they're the Airfix one, the auto coach with a bell on one of the ends. And they won't be a lot, and they look in nice condition. I think I might have the pair of them at some point. you can guarantee I'll go in and he's sold them. Yeah, it can be finicky track valleys. Yeah, they do. That's how they'd have been run, isn't it? Well, at the moment, one I've got on my bench, I've got the old Triang 262 tank, and I'm going to put the wheels in my drill and turn them down so they're not banging the sleepers. But at the same time, I don't want them too shallow, so the verniers will have to come out, get them all the same, and not too much on the flange and not too little. That would be an interesting combination. That's one on my bench at the moment. You know, on modern Hornby, Spurs are a nightmare to get hold of. Anything after Hornby UK, you have to be buying full locos and full bodies just to get Spurs. The old Hornbys, you can buy buffers, whistles, everything. But I got the newer body, LMS Ginty, and it has nicer metal buffers on. But it had one missing because one of them's obviously broken off. And I'm putting them onto the old Hornby Ginty, and I'm going to be renumbering them. So I need just one of those metal buffers. Can you find them? I'm going to have to buy. I can get as many plastic ones as I want, the old Hornby Margate ones. Can get as many of them as I want. But the more detailed China stuff, you've not a chance. It's like a needle in an haystack finding them. So whether I might go to all plastic on it as it should be, but have to cut some steps off the black body I have, and I'm going to mount them on that. See, I want it in the lined LMS livery. I like that, and I've got LMS decals to do the numbering. That might be a point, you know, Valleys. I might have a look at their Spurs site and see what their buffers are like. Because if anything, I can cut them off and mount the Backman ones on, or I can glue them in. There's ways and means to fit the Backman ones to that. Thanks for that, Val. It's a good idea. I'll check that out later. But Hornby's Spurs backup for the Chinese stuff is non-existent. They don't give a shit. It's a terrible company now. My friend has an air fuller. To get that running again, he's going to have to buy either a full local or a full tender because one of the wheels has gone missing off the tender. One of the geared wheels. Hey, cool. Hornby though, Hornby and none of, you know, Hornby hobbies. I won't buy any of the new stuff because I don't want to deal with a company with a quality control issues. sporadic quality, virtually non-existent spares supply. I don't want to deal with a company like that. It's ridiculous, Raymond, but that's the situation. The old army, you could get spares, but the newer Chinese stuff, forget it. All they do, they don't manufacture spares. They manufacture full locos and import the full locos. And if you send one back to them, they'll just replace a full loco. They won't repair it. Really, to be honest, I think, well, I say it, and that's the reason I say it. Hornby are awful quality. They're not made to be repaired. They're made so you'll bin them and buy another. Like, oh, I've had 3 years out of it now. Well, not 3, that's short, even for the Chinese stuff, unless you're running it a lot. But I've got 7, 8 years out of it now and bin it. Buy another. Yeah, there's some quality stuff in the old Continental stuff, Raymond. Quality engineered stuff. Well, that's one I want to make, actually, to be honest, Raymond. It depends how my layout plans go. But the signal box I used to work in, I was there when they first started running. Well, we had all names for it. We called it 5H1T, called it the shit train, called it Dusty Bin, and everything. It were the refuse containers, and they went past every morning, come back in the evening. Right, Greater Manchester, bins processing, heading to landfill. But yeah, happy days. The first containers were white with an orange diagonal down one corner. So yeah, it was a good system. Well, they still run it today. They blue now, the containers, and I suppose it'll be a class 66 all in it instead of 40s, 47s, 37s. Yeah, there will be valleys. Oh, jeez. I bet people were retching, Raymond. I bet they were retching people, mate. Oh, no, you couldn't handle that, could you? That's not on at all, is it, really? But this sewage train idling for 2 months. Jeez. That'd smart your eyes a bit. Yeah, it was, I was done idle about. They run They run daily and it's dealt with each day. Well, they can still knit a bit, even fresh every day, they can still knit. Yeah, they can proper stink. I bet they did. Jeez, how did they think it were acceptable in the first place? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. You can't think that sort of behaviour is acceptable on a community. You won't want it outside your own house. Why impose it on others? Mind you, the length of some American trains, Raymond, it might have taken them 2 months even moving. Geez, I watched one the other day on YouTube. Oh, the mixture on the consist were unbelievable. I watched one time, a military. There's a video on YouTube of a huge military vehicles train in the US. Proper impressive. They have everything on there, bulldozers, tanks, Humvees, everything. Bloody hell. The Owl Valleys. What? You're not like me, are you? When I used to work at one place, and to wind people up, I put the wrong coloured bin out on the wrong week to wind them up, and you'd watch the rest of the streets. They'd put the grey bin out at first, then seeing I'd put the blue bin out, then you saw them thinking, they go, "Fuck, is it the blue bin this week?" And they'd all change to blue bin. Then in the morning, I'd take the blue bin in and put the grey one out again. So they'd all come out and they were all dashing about in morning before the bin wagon come. Fuck yeah, I'm a shit to messing with people's heads like that. It's hilarious though. Watching the full neighbourhood. Fuck, get the other bin out. Oh, do lots of stuff like that. Funny. That's it. I'm trying to pick at what I think's a stray hair. Hang on. There. I'm trying to pluck it out. It was other side of my head anyway. I was trying to pluck out there. But it's a bloody scratch on the wall anyway. Bit special. Extra long. They're absolutely huge, Raymond. The thing is, though, Valleys, we're only a small island, so we don't really need the size of trains America needs. 22 is a long train for us. Like I counted one with 100, like, well, container wagons on, etc. In the States. It was over 100 they had on. and they're longer than ours as well. And some of them are double deck now. That's impressive, Valleys. You know, we don't get anything like the freight. We still have freight. Mainly we have intermodals nowadays. But we don't get anywhere near the freight we used to get, like fuel tankers, ballast, coal trains. We don't get nowhere near what they used to get. The interesting local traffic. We have virtually no passenger trains now, apart from tours that are local owned. We used to get a lot of passenger stock that were local owned. Now we have electric and diesel units now. There's the occasional one, but not many of our passengers that are local owned now. I want to travel on one of them before they do away with that. I want to do the Caledonian Sleeper. Go from London up to Aberdeen or whatever. You have some amazing stuff in the US. See, we got very limited in the UK because we built a lot of our infrastructure to a loading gauge. And it's the same all over the country, the height you can do. But in Europe, they've built different heights and stuff. And like the French, etc., they've got double-decker trains. And I think now, I'm pretty sure I might be right in saying some of the TGVs now are double-decked. In fact, I'm just going looking on that. Check. I'm doing a bit of fact checking, but I'm pretty sure some of the TGVs are double deckers. Yeah, they are. Some of the TGVs now are double decked. Yeah, Raymond, here at the moment, my local preserved railway, they're having to make up a lot of money because they need to restore one of the bridges on the line. It's come to a part where it needs a lot of restoration on it. I think they'll do it. They're talking, I think it's a couple of million or something to restore it. I reckon they'll do it. But I'm seldom popular with me. I express things I think of. And I said, imagine if you hadn't spent money on a never was station. They built a new station on a part of the line that never had a station. And turns out if they hadn't done that station, they'd have had the money to repair the bridge. But anyway, it's all political. I'm a member of society and I'm waiting I'm waiting for my membership card so I can get discounted and free rides. Have a mooch out on it. Probably do some videos. Because I've not really done a lot of videos of the steamers there. And they've had some nice visitors recently. I've done still shots, but not videos. They've had Britannia there, Sir Nigel Bresley, Pendennis Castle. I could have done some nice videos really, but I've not. So I think at some point this summer I'll have to get a day ticket for the whole line and mooch doing some videography down the line of the steamers. It might only be that I have a Jinsey running, or our resident loco now is, hang on, let me think. What's the name of it? Is it Tar Valley? Let me have a look. I've got photos of it. It's a Southern Region spam cam anyway. Just let me have a look in my photos. I've got pictures of it. Trying to remember name. I think it's Tar Valley, but I might be wrong. Not that one. Have to look at it now. Was that one? No, that's not it. Hang on, is it in videos? I'd have to look through and find it. Yeah, I'd have to look through. Wonder if it's in there. I'm sure it was in there. Have I put it in with others? That's bugging me now. Where have I put it? Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Ah, no, not Tar Valley. City of Wells. That were it. City of Wells. Ah, oh, when I worked for British Rail Valleys. Oh, some of the things I could tell you, Jesus. They had to cut a shunter out one day. The fire brigade had to cut him out of the cab. He weren't injured, he was just trapped through. He was lucky, he was just trapped through bent metal, he couldn't move and everything. The DMU cab front and the cab back squashed up together and he couldn't get past any the stuff. They got fire brigade in, got him out. And me, as usual, I'm blunt and I always put my foot in it. I don't give a shit anyway. I walked in the brew room and there's a driver in there having a brew. And I went, you know, that's a mess out there, isn't it? I said, whoever we're driving that's going to get a proper fucking. And he goes, it was me. I went, and see you later. Yeah, it's funny. And another lad, a shunter, we used to call him Fingers, little Sammy Salim. It was an habit, and it was a dangerous habit. One of them were going to get caught out sooner or later, checking the vacuum on the vacuum brakes. They pat it on the end with your hand. This day, it was a particularly strong one, and it sucked Sammy's arm in, so they had to get the fire brigade in to get it, man. Oh, Jesus, you shouldn't laugh. But you were high out, Sammy. I did, got my arm stuck. Very gracious, me arm stuck in vacuum brake. God bless him. Happy days, some of the lads we used to have there. Great set of lads to work with. I doubt they like that now, I bet. I bet it's like everywhere. You don't know if somebody will grass on you or not. Try to have a laugh with someone and they grass you. Lovely working atmosphere in jobs now. I mean, don't get me wrong, in the 80s, you still had your arseholes and we used to know where they were and we had names for them. There was one lad from Oldham. We used to call him, his nickname was Biffo, and he didn't know why he was called Biffo. And I have to admit, I turned round to my mate, I said, why do they call him Biffo? I said, is it after Biffo the Bear or something? I said, I can't get, I said, I can't get why you're calling him Biffo. And he said, well, it's the initials, really. I said, what's that? He said, he's a bleeding ignorant fucker from Oldham. Oh, the camaraderie and the insults and it was fantastic. Like modern work day, he wouldn't cry about that and he'd have a laugh with you. Modern day workplaces, they go crying to boss. I had one time, looking back, I was working engineering. It was fantastic, Raymond. It was, everybody got nicknames and like they took the piss out of each other and but they all got on. They were all mates. But it was hilarious. There was a lad, he was a guard that went out on trains, train crew. And he was late back one time. And they said, "Why are you late?" He said, "I went out and they used to do regular from Manchester Victorias, run out to the coast to Blackpool, like it's an holiday resort. So the lads had an hour or so turnaround. So they'd have a mooch around Blackpool. They'd perhaps go for a quick pint or they'd go to a model shop in Blackpool, go and get a chippy or, whatever they fancied. It were an holiday resort. Everything were there. If they wanted to, they could have gone in a penny arcade and played the slots or you name it. It was good. It was a good run out to get for drivers and guards because they had enough time for turnaround to go down to the seafront. You had perhaps half hour to kill, so you'd have your dinner and then head back to the station to take the train back. And this lad, he got lost in Blackpool, so we were late back to bring his train back and it run late in. So all the lads after that, there was a building in Manchester town centre, and this lad were called Sinnott. And the building in Manchester town centre, it was a CIS building, and it was actually Co-op Insurance Services. But from that day on, when he got lost, they nicknamed it Sinnott's Lighthouse. He said, "There you are." He said, "Look for the light on top of that building, and you know you're coming home." Yeah, it's a brilliant place to work. Like days have changed. Days have changed, Raymond. In them days, the early 80s when I worked for them, they had their own guards and drivers club. And it were open all day, so you could, while you were working, while I were working on the railway station, it wasn't unusual for me to have 2 or 3 pints. Geez, I pushed it a bit one year near Christmas. I had about 8 pints. I was pissed as a rat. Oh my God. Valleys? I can't call the lad because I've done very similar. Many years ago, what year would it have been? About 94. My friend had a handbag factory. Well, my friend's dad had an handbag factory. And he had a large order. I were out to work at the time. And he had a large order on for British Home Stores. They've shut down now. But it were a massive chain and they wanted thousands of a particular bag. And there were 4 colours. And he said to me, I want you to do all the eyelets of this bag. I think it was something like 4,000 bags. And each one had 4 eyelets in for a lace to go in and string it up. Like fucking women, they like tying things up. I don't know what it is with them. But so like 4,000, you're talking 16,000 I had to do on the eyelet machine. And I'd nearly finished the full order. And I got complacent then. You know, like you think, oh, I'm a fucking whiz at this. I don't even have to look. Now, that was my first error. I don't even have to look. And there was a Polish girl who worked there, and she was gorgeous. She was a stunner. And I was like that looking through at her. And she couldn't talk English, but I was like giving her the charm, giving her the eye and everything. Anyway, next thing I know, you work it out really, because you've done something like what? 4, 8. You're on about 15,895, and then all of a sudden, when you press the pedal down, it feels different. And I went, hang on, wait a minute. Because I weren't concentrating on job and I was giving her the eye. Next thing I know, I've lost part. Hang on, can we see it proper? Yeah, I've lost that part. Hang on. It's fucking hard work this because it's reversed. I've lost that part of that finger. It's misshaped. There were a semicircle out of it, and you could see the bone in it. And I went like that. I walked up to me mate and goes, Lee. He goes, what? He said, oh, I'll be with you in a minute. I said, it really is quite urgent. He said, I'll be with you in a bit. I think that's funny, charging him for the blade. Nowadays, they'd sue you for the finger. Sod off, you've damaged our blade. Worst one I saw on my first. I keep current all the time on my first aid. I keep current all the time on my first aid because in my line of work, I never know when I need it. I've got defib and I've got all sorts of additional shit. I know how to use defibs and everything. But we were out mountain biking and there's a mountain biking track a couple of miles away from here, and me and my mate went down onto it. And this young laddie comes pelting down, and you saw him hit this bump. The front end of the bike raised up, and me and my mate looked at each other as if to say, this isn't going to end well. And his foot hit the ground, and he didn't make a noise, this lad. And we went over to him and I went, oh, Steve. He says, what? I said, I feel licky. He says, why? I said, look at his leg. And his leg were at all angles where it shouldn't have been. I said, there's fuck all I can do for him. I said, I'm not qualified to pull it back into place. I said, all I can do is give him a pillow or whatever. And I got one of his mates to take the jacket out, fold it up, put it under his head. And I said, that's all I can do till ambulance gets here. Anyway, ambulance gets there and his mum comes round. And his mum was furious. I've never seen a woman as angry in my life. And this young lad was more worried about his mother than he were about his leg being off at the wrong angle. And she's like, that, you wanker. Said, you've only just recovered from doing your other one. Oh, that's good. I thought that's going to be fun in his house tonight. Because the young lad had only just recovered from doing the same to me. He must have had weak ankles or something, because he'd done the same to his other ankle. I thought, Jesus, is that lad in the shit? But yeah, honest, you can say what you want. I'm a first aider, and I've come across all sorts of shit, because I get my boss, every now and again, you get a surprise scenario set up at work. You have to go in a room and you have to be ready to resuscitate a patient with a tracheostomy, say. So they do, but nothing prepares you for a real patient when you walk up to them and legs and arms are sticking out where they shouldn't be. Honest, you do. I ain't gonna lie, when I walked up to the lad, I went up to him, he went, how bad is it? I went, he went, oh shit. Oh shit, I'm in deep poo-poo off me mum again. Yeah, the worst one I've had, touch wood, and it is wood. I got a police escort for, and I needed 100 and odd stitches, and I had shit, probably about 6 or 8 doctors working round me, patched me back up. I got savaged by 2 dogs. Now, when you're a mountain biker and a motorcyclist, it goes with the territory. I've done a couple of times where I've been out, where I've gone airborne off my bike on the road and finished up in people's gardens. Sometimes I've had to have legs strapped up through it, and my last accidents I had, I've sold up now, I've given them up. But the last accident I had, I nearly lost my leg. Well, on my leg valleys, I had an hole in it, and I'd degloved 20 centimetres of my flesh off my leg, and I could look down inside my leg. And also on that same accident, I snapped my thumb, so I had to have that pinned back together. And also, I can't remember, to be honest. It all happened that quick, but I think I may have been knocked out cold. I know my helmet's damaged, I was wearing. And also, I woke up with my head in a pothole and spitting gravel out my mouth. Yeah, Raymond, my last bike, the 0 to 60 on it, It'd do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. And it'd do about, top out at about 130. No, 140 it'd top out. He were a quick little beastie. I said to people here, I live in a village here, and we have a straight. It's probably 1/4 of a mile at a rough. No, it's probably less. It's probably 1/8 of a mile. And I've opened it up at the top end, my bike, and I were doing 80 miles per hour by the time I had to brake again to throw it round the corner at the bottom end. So it could shift. And also I got a little bit too used to dropping it down again, winding the throttle back and bunching it up on its back wheel. Because it came up happily. It had the power to just zip you up. We ain't letting off and like catching it on the flip back. You just rolled the throttle back and it went up. But yeah, I always said the last bike I'd ever owned were an Harley Sportster, and I don't think I'm going to do it now. I would have liked to, but I don't think I would. Unless I won the lottery and I bought one just to do the experience, then resold it. My friend has an Harley 1200 Sportster. I may ask him if I can have a ride. I'll tell you what, Raymond, all my bits I've damaged over the years and worn out. I could do with a lot of spare parts. My hands are getting screwed, legs, knees, hips, bloody everything. But like I'll say, I'm not like these health freaks that'll go to heaven in a perfect body. I'm one of these that'll be absolutely worn out, knackered, and go, what a fucking ride. Yeah, that's the aim of life. Get all the life experiences in you can, because it goes past a lot quicker than you think it does. In fact, a lot too quick. Only seems like yesterday when I first moved in here, and my next door neighbour had a young girl. She was a young girl, I said. She was a baby. She'd just been born. She's at college now. Done a prom and everything. Where did that go? Beautiful young woman as well. Yeah, I know. Well, what's that shit about? I'll tell you what, Raymond, it seems living in the UK, anything America does, 10 minutes after, the UK does it. And sadly, it's not the positive things America does. The UK chooses to do all the shit things they do. Like watching women with arse plants, arse implants. Who thinks that looks good? Fair goes for a woman that has a flat arse. Yeah, but there's some women, black women, they've had arse implants, and it looks like they sat on an arse. Not kidding. You think, all right, madam, excuse me, let me get past your arse. Whoa, hang on a minute. Fantastic valleys. I bet he's fun at airport security. Do you ever watch? I don't know whether the Americans will get it, but do you watch valleys? The last leg. Do you watch the Aussie Adam Mills? I think he's hysterical. He's such a funny guy, that Aussie Adam Mills. He was talking about going through airport security, and he kept going through the checker. He kept going through the airport like metal detector, and he was taking more and more metal stuff off. And the airport security are there. And they're like, what's going on? Anyway, he got down to the last thing it could be. And he started unstrapping his false leg. And the airport security are going, whoa, no, mate. Go through, he says, we don't want to offend a spastic. Oh, he's hilarious. Yeah, airport security. We don't want to offend a spastic. Well, valleys, I'll level with you. I have disabilities. And I went on the disability course, and it was the biggest eye opener to me going. Funny, because I was out of work at the time, and I went on a course to help me find, because I'd come out of engineering through disabilities, and I didn't know what to do. I was clueless, because all I'd ever done all my life were engineering and driving. So the work I'm doing now, it were a foreign concept to me. I've never thought of it. And the lad who put him round, our ex-military, only territorials like to Americans, similar to National Guard. And I was this other guy who went, he was a company called Remploy, and they help disabled people get into the workplace. And he said, I've got a job here for you. He says, working with disabled people. And I said, I don't think that's me. And he said, well, go and give it a try out. I went, no, I don't reckon it's me. He said, well, go to the open day. So I went to the open evening. And I come out, I said, I still don't reckon it's me. And they sent for me, they says, we want you to come back for an interview. And I'm like, oh, this shouldn't to me. Anyway, I went back for an interview, and it was a panel interview, and they had one of the service users, they called them, a girl that were on, and she was deliberately on there to check how you reacted to her. Because visually, she had facial features. She was deformed and stuff all over the place. And she was there to see how people reacted to disabled people. And I was like, I'm just my normal self. Yeah, right. Whatever. Anyway, next thing I know, they sent back, oh, you've got the job. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't intend to do that. And I said to him, I said, I don't know if it's me. He said, well, give it a try, he says. You can work there for a couple of months, and if you don't like it, you can give it up, and you'll still get your benefits. I went, all right then, so I'll give it a try. Anyway, after that, what? Let me work it out. 12 years later. Yeah, it was I think, Valleys, it was one of the most disgusting things they ever did. Remploy was a fantastic, fantastic thing. It gave some people, it wasn't great pay, and it was like a little bit additional to your benefits, but it got you out of the house and part of the community. Some things are more valuable than money. I'm not on a great deal of money now, but I'm out of the house. It's like a lot of the girls say, because of all my health issues now. They say, why don't you give up and get disability and stuff like that? I said, I probably can. I said, and I'd probably be better off, but I wouldn't be better off mentally. I'd probably be in the house, not see anyone. I said, we work, I come out. I said, I mix in with you girls, have a laugh with you. 100%, Raymond. 100%. Sadly, there's a big percentage of the population doesn't think that way nowadays. We're in a very money-orientated society. There's a few things over the years made me say I don't give a fuck about money. I've said even when I've been on good money with some of the jobs I've done in past, when I weren't happy, I went, screw it, I'm off. I've got better things to do than this shit. If you're not happy, it's not worth the good money. Yeah, there's a few of the girls, Valleys. There's a few of the girls that have told me to claim PIP. I don't know, Valleys. See, vouchers. You say it sounds awful, but it isn't. Vouchers are money. Look at it that way. You can say you get vouchers for a local supermarket like Tesco. It's your shopping. It's still money. It's not ideal, but never forget Labour. When Labour were in, introduced workfare, which were the same thing. They were sending unemployed people out to work for the benefits, and they were working for national companies like B&Q, and B&Q were one of the ones that took them on, and they were working for free for B&Q, and you thought, well, hang on a minute. If B&Q need that labour, they can take him on and fucking pay for him. Never mind government sending them there so they can get free labour. If they need that labour, take the lad on and pay for him. Because they tried me getting to it. They said, do you want to do work there? And I told them, I said, get fucked. And that was under Labour. So don't blame the Tories for everything, because Labour are just as big gobshites. And Labour have been responsible for more than the Tories were. It's just that people conveniently forget. Because I'll guarantee you, I'll guarantee you it's this country's never-ending circle. It's a never-ending circle of two parties, both doing the same job. There'll be a general election before Christmas, I reckon. Maybe just after. We're not far off one because Labour are going, we want one, and they're in a good position. So Labour will get in. They've promised you the earth. They've promised you the earth. You won't see it. And they'll do shit that's just as bad as the Tories were doing. And after 10 years, you'll get fed up with them. So you'll vote the Tories back in, and they'll do the exact same that Labour were doing. The only reason we're giving a vote is so you're given the illusion you think you have a choice. A lot of people forget that Andy Burnham was a huge person involved with the privatisation of the NHS. He took away the safeguards that were put in place so they weren't allowed to privatise them. And he took them away so Labour could start privatising it. But Labour are the party that turn round and say, you want to watch the Tories, they'll privatise the NHS. Well, you're the one that did the biggest percent of privatising. Yeah, for sure, Mick. I get your quandary of hanging around 20. It can get so spirit breaking and you get the same drudge every day. I'll tell you something, Mick, if I were over your place, I'd be coming round and saying, if you can offer an hour fishing or something like that. I wouldn't be asked about catching the fish. I'd have a tinny in my box and be catapult. I'd be catapulting ground bait at rowing boats because I'm an arsehole. I'm someone that hasn't grown up. Make a bag ground bait ball with some maggots in it, then catapult it, a canoeist said. I'm a gobshite. I get where you're coming from as well, Mick. It's a lot easier when you're younger because you have a bigger friends circle and you all have no commitments. And when you get old, you've grown apart from all your mates. You don't have the friends circle you had. Scooby! How you doing, lad? Yeah, you don't have the friends circle you have, and it's harder to make friends because everyone's involved in their own little worlds with family and commitment and stuff. And it's very difficult to find people that'll fit in with your commitments. It gets harder as you get older. Like I say, I don't want a relationship now. I'm very set in my ways, and I couldn't be doing with other people's baggage, to be honest. It doesn't matter, Mick. You don't, like I say, I've arranged to go out fishing with one of the girls I work with, her husband. We're going to go out on a fishing trip, and it's not particularly to catch fish. It's just for the guys chit chat and have a sit around, be outside in nature and stuff. It's just that couple of hours out from inside the walls, like. But again, Mick, see the people I work with, I consider myself very fortunate. If I was in 24/7 and your mobile, Mick, our patients aren't mobile. So they're in the same hospital 24/7 and they can't say, I'd like to just have a mooch in the garden, or I'd like to just have a mooch to the shop, or whatever. They're stuck. They're doing whatever. Hey, up, we've got fucking Rozzers round. We've got a cop van outside. It wasn't me. All I look at is granny porn. Oh, I'm a bad man. I'm definitely not getting to heaven. I wish I were 34, Raymond. Believe me, Raymond, you're not. With a lot of them nowadays, you're not missing out on a lot. I refuse to buy a TV license, Raymond, but then I've not got a TV. I do have a TV, but it's an old analog set, and I don't have a working digital box. So technically, I can't. The wording of the law is like you have to be able to receive live TV, and I can't receive live TV. I don't know, Mick. I don't know whether it's at the restaurant. It's parked outside the restaurant area, so they've possibly gone in the restaurant. Or they may be at flats outside. See if I've got enough cable on the camera so the Americans can see one of our Rozzers. I don't know whether I do. No, it's in wrong area. Too short a cable. Damn it. Yeah, too short a cable. He might have to go that way though and come back when he goes. So if he goes that way and comes back, I can show you then. Yeah, it's the 5-0, Raymond. I'll tell you what, Mick, for your Eurovision entry, I'd ask them for a fucking refund. We don't normally get them up here in the village valleys. To be fair, we don't normally see them. It's normally a quieter. And to be fair, he's probably at restaurant. They've probably had somebody bailing from paying them or fighting or something. Or they may have gone seeing someone on estates outside here. I don't watch it nowadays, Raymond. It's not what it was years ago. It's political and it's all they're all ticking boxes for LGB, and it's all political over Israel and everything. Hey, if you don't, I'm not being funny, but I'm more on Israel's side than Palestine's. If you don't want to be attacked, don't launch terrorist attacks from your soil. Pure and simple. If you go and attack a country that were peaceful with you, don't expect them not to retaliate. Israel isn't the rest of the world. They will kick your ass. Oh, she needs to. We've got a car now. Needs to. They've sent reinforcements. Oh, shit, he swung round quick. That's it. Big shit's going down. He's phoned his mate. Oh, someone's going in the van. I didn't see whether he come from restaurant or flats, but he's going in the van. They've turned his cell light on in the back of the van. I'll give you commentary. If they go that way, I'll film it for you. Oh, sorry, no night, mate. Catch you later, buddy. Well, I'll catch you during week. I'll definitely catch you during week, cocker. That's intriguing. We've got something flashing as well. Let's have a look what that is. Stopped now. Wait for him to go and I'll show you one of Brit Place films. One of cops is having a workup. Ah, so they didn't waste resources then, Scooby. Where are you again, Scooby? Yeah, where are you, Scooby? Oh yeah, it sums it up. Hey, last night we had round my village and all the area around here, we had the national police aircraft up, the surveillance aircraft. So I think there's going to be a few dawn raids. It was circling round the village for about an hour. Well, this village, next village over, and they're probably looking for weed farms. In fact, come to think of it, I wonder if one of my neighbours has been growing it. Because you smell them smoking it. Yeah, Chinooks over here quite often valleys, because my local civilian aerodrome has the contract for refueling military. So we get Chinooks, Apaches, oh bloody hell, Merlins in there. We've had one of those, the Yank ones with the big twin propellers that tilt, what they call AV what. We've had them in. Oh God, we got all sorts. Oh yeah, they're a big old. Well, they call the Chinook British Army and RAF call the Chinook a wooker because of the noise. Osprey, thank you, Raymond. That's it. We had one of them in the other week. They get all sorts in, and it's also the station for the local air ambulance, and it's the station for Greater Manchester Police. So you get all sorts in there. You also get nowadays National Grid helicopters used to land on a landing pad near me, and they'd stop at the hotel where the landing pad were. And they don't go in now. The hotel's changed. Good evening, Paul. What would you want to know about the Chinook, Paul? See if I can help you, because a very good friend of mine is an ex-RAF aircrew instructor for helicopters. Retired a few years ago. But he not only trained RAF helicopter aircrew, he trained Royal Navy and Army as well. I've had a complete sit down and lecture off him on how helicopters work. And they're so fascinating. There's so many things. If you're the average man and watch them, you think you know everything, and then he tells you stuff and you go, fuck, how do them things stay in the air? Yeah. I'm trying to think, has an Airfix done a new tool? I think Airfix has done a new tool. I'd like to do 148. I've got some photos somewhere of them repairing one at our local heliport. It landed as an emergency at our local heliport, and it had a failure, and it was there for weeks with them repairing it, and it were one in commemorative livery, like a commemorative colour scheme. But it was there for weeks. I've got photographs of them stood on top with engine hatches open and working on it. No, I've never. For me, it'd have to be 148 if I were building a model of it. I like 148 if I'm doing stuff now. Especially something like that. I've got a few 148 helicopter kits. I should really do a kit. Not done a model kit for ages. But Earthix are doing some cracking new tools nowadays. Like the Sea King. Years ago, I'd have bought that 148 Sea King. I'd have been right on that. That's a beautiful model kit. They get into, I don't care what anyone says, they still have their faults, Earthix, but they're heading towards Tamiya quality. Valleys. Earthix is Chinese tooling. All this stuff's in China. They're all done in Chinese factories now. The whole of all the production, of Hornby hobbies is in China. And now, well, technically it's not, because they're not liking paying the Chinese now, because China's asking for a fairer deal, and they're getting more industrialised and everything. And they're asking for fairer deals for work. Hang on. Oh, he's doing a U-turn. I thought I was going to get a bit of film then for you, one at Rosa's. The van, he's just carting him off down the yard. Further interviewing at the station. But yeah, Hornby now. Hornby hobbies on certain stuff. They're transferring production to India because it's cheaper labour costs. The only trouble is my friend's reviewed it because he does Earthix Hornby hobbies, and he said the quality's abysmal. The plastic quality's bad, it's full of scratches. Yeah. What's that, Sam? Jeans down the side street, giving the nonce a kicking. %100% valleys. 100%. The quality control for Hornby is shambolic. Some models will come out and they're cracking. Other models will come out and bits are falling off. Motors are blowing up. They don't run proper. They're sporadic. They don't do them. Sorry, I'm curtain switching. They're sporadic. They don't. You wouldn't mind so bad if they were consistently shit quality or consistently good quality. It's the bit that they can't stick to a quality. That's it. He's off kicking in and ons down the station. Yeah, he's off, bless him. He's going to get he's going to be getting a brew in a polystyrene cup in the morning, and sandwiches in a plastic triangle. Yeah, they piss poor. I'll maintain it all the time. They don't do good quality control, and they don't spend money on R&D. Half of these problems wouldn't exist if they had decent research and development. They just want to get it in that box and sold as fast as possible. I don't think they'll even get that, Valleys. You better not drop the soap where you're going, sunshine. Travellers Fair in the 80s, they got a lot of slagging off, but some of the sandwiches were lush. Some of the sandwiches at Manchester Victoria's, Travellers Fair, were absolutely lush. And the ingredients, they were ahead of the time. Like everybody else would be doing bloody egg and cress and stuff, and they'd have dressings and different mixtures and stuff. They were ahead of the time, Travellers Fair. They do get unfairly slated. Some places might have been crappier than others, but I found Manchester Victoria's to be good. Yeah, that's where you can have problems. I had some plastic triangle sandwiches yesterday for my breakfast. I got them from Aldi, and I have to confess they were pretty good. I got myself some BLT, I think it were I had. That sounds nice. Sounds nice, Raymond. I would try and avoid asking that one, Valleys. I've not a clue either. I bet it's nice though. I got crumbly Cheshire cheese yesterday and some creamy double Gloucester for going on with my salads. I'm getting to the time of year where I have an health kick. Ain't going vegan though. I'm not going vegan. I'm not one of them LGBMGBGTs. That does sound good. The other day I used to hate olives when I was younger. And you know, when you're out shopping and you thought, I used to hate these when they were younger. And then you think, yeah, okay, give it a go. And I got them and I'm still not fully fond of them. But with a salad and other stuff, it makes up something to eat. And they're bearable now. Oh, lovely. I've gone posh. I've got pesto salad dressing, and I've got French salad dressing. I've got some salad cream if I don't feel posh. I've got something weird I bought yesterday, and it's quite nice, really. I bought some banana tomato sauce. Sounds weird, but it's tasty. Don't you be giving me fucking pronouns. I hate putting up with none of that shit. Fucking pronouns, how do they think they are these days? Shares long in the. I use gazebo as another word for getting pissed. I was gazeboed last night. Gazebo. Oh, I'll tell you what the frightening thing is. I have some absolutely weird and wild dreams, Scooby, and I'm having trouble separating them from my real life. There's a lot of times I stand there at work and say, did that shit really happen then? Some of the stuff that goes down. But yeah, real life, I watch them now, the younger generation, and I think, you know something, you're making one fucked up mess of a world for yourselves to live in the future. Because I don't give a fuck. They're not dragging me into the shit. I get along with people. I don't give a shit about their sexuality. Whether they want to be female, I'll still talk to them. Same as I will anyone else. But when they demand I join in the fantasy role-playing games, ain't happening. They don't. I don't get it at all. I think it's poor education and adults for years not drawing boundaries like they should do. They've not had decent father figures like they should have. Fathering's been very poor. Mothers have made sure sometimes that fathers are aware. To be honest, I'd rather have a bad parent, bad father in example than no father in example. Because you have to have two views, and the child, when it grows up, the child can take it for what it is, which one he wants side with, or she wants side with. But at the moment, you're getting up. I don't know, it's just a fucked up world. Like, to the degree, I watched a video, and there's a paramedic, and he was on about males are females. And he was dressed up as a female, and they said they're not. And he turned round to him. This guy was a paramedic. And he turned round to him and he says, so if you turn up to a male that's told you is pregnant. Are you going to treat him as a male that's pregnant? And he stood there and he didn't know what to say. He was dumbfounded and he goes, still a woman. He said, I think I've answered it. That's mental, Scooby. I'll tell you what, back in the very late 80s, going into 1990, I worked for a microbiology company that produced pod plates, like, you know, the little dishes for checking for microbiological infections and stuff. And I made the agars that you made the pod plates up out of. I made blood cultures that you used to check in for diseases. But one lad that worked there, we had a night shift, and he come in one night, he was pissed from the pub. He climbed up onto the top of the decking, fell asleep on sacks at the top of the Dexian racking. He fell asleep on sacks at the top, woke up in the morning, come down, had a wash, clocked off and went home. And he was paid. Fantastic, happy days. One they did, oh Jesus. One they did at Salford. Salford is probably world famous. It's a rough area. And I live not so damn far off Salford. But Salford it's not as rough as it was nowadays. It's tidied up, but back then it was rough. And that's where part of our works were. And I did it in the berry plant. And we had big tumbling machines that you mixed powder up in. And you'd throw barrels of powder in it, and it just tumbled and tumbled it to mix the ingredients. So my job was loading it, then afterwards unload it, then it would go up to the labs at QC to be tested. Anyway, they had the same thing at Salford, and you used to wash them out and everything. Afterwards, then you put an heating air hose in to dry it out, because you were dealing with hygroscopic powders. And anyway, they had this big 50 litre or bigger, a big container, like massive, and they filled it with water. And it were a 3-story building, and they were on the roof, and they filled it with water. And one of the lads looked over the edge of the roof, and there was a young schoolboy walking down the street, and he tipped this bucket over the edge, and the water hurled down to the street below. Bearing in mind, he was probably something like 50 gallons, a lot more. It took this poor little schoolboy off his feet and swept him down the street. He was furious. He come back to the company and he was ranting into the entrance. And they said, oh, we don't know what's happened, kid. Don't know. Said, we've not seen anything. And they went up to the roof and said, which one of you bastards did that? Said he's furious. He's going to go home now and get changed and tell his mum. Oh dear. some of the stuff. But the worst one I got, and this is typical late 80s workplace when people still had a laugh at work. We had a lad, he were an ex-Hells Angel, and he weren't proper Hells Angel. And I got on with him. I used to go to his house. I did decorating for him. I used to go to gigs he'd done. Everything. Anyway, this guy, trying to think now, lost my train of thought on that. Oh, that was it, yeah. He didn't give a shit. And I'm stood there. We used to have an entrance hall where clocking in machine was. And you had the car park, you could look over the car park. And bless him, he's passed away now. But he was called Yorkie. Because he was from Yorkshire, the lad. Anyway, he walks up across the car park. And next thing you know, his flies go down. And he's got his old man out, waving it, walking across the car park. And Dot, who worked with him at Salford, one of the old girls, Dot, worked with him at Salford. And goes, Dot, Yorkie's got his penis out. And she goes, yeah, I know. He does it all the time, you know. Oh, what a place to work. Yeah, the Dot was so, God bless her, she died early as well. She got run over by a truck, God bless her. Sad to two really good old characters I worked with her. Both went well before their time. And the sad thing about Yorkie was, talk about you never know where life takes you and make the most out of every day. He'd had big bikes and he'd been an Hells Angel, got in fights. He were a right roughneck lad. He had an allergic reaction killed him when he went to the dentist. God bless him. Unreal, he was given an injection 1 minute, dead the next. What a wrencher. Like I say, you'd say, live life to the fullest, because you never know when the old Grim Reaper's going to tap you on the shoulder. If you want to do something, do it and set it. But yeah, I've got 9 in. According to figures at the top, there's 9 in. The old ones are the best. The old ones are the best, Scooby. Fantastic. I love people like that. I love the oddballs. They're fantastic. This is where a lot of modern life, they forgot what having a good old-fashioned hoot's about. I'll tell you what I've started doing now. All these, you get all these vegan ads on Facebook and all the modern day bullshit. I've decided now, I'm playing them at their own game. I'm reporting them and saying I'm offended. I'm saying it's offensive content. Yeah, I'm offended. Or what's the other one? Oh, I reversed the tables on them. I think I think bullshit too can play at that game. Yeah, it's a load of bull. One we did, fellas, we went we have one not so far off where I live here, and it's called Smithle's Coaching House. Scooby may well remember it, he's not far off. But it's near Bolton, it was Smithle's Coaching House. And we went there for a Christmas meal and disco. And honestly, I got bored and it was me that started it. I got bored, I started a food fight. And first pog, you know the little sachets of butter? I got one of them, I took it out the wrapper and I skimmed it across the room and it hit the managing director's suit right between the shoulder blades. And so that was it then. And he was up for anything, he was funny managing director. He got a bread roll and hurled it back. Anyway, eventually the girls, they had enough. They came round and they bollocked us all. He says, one of our waitresses might slip on the butter and we don't want them getting injured. So I thought, right, lads, throw stuff that isn't slippy. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Vallis and Scooby, you put some of these modern day people and put them back into the 80s and 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they'd have a meltdown. They wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know how to handle people. I don't know, we give it back as good as we got. We used to have a black lad in our class, and we used to wind each other up for fun all day long about each other's colour and everything. No holds barred. Nobody got sensitive. Nobody said, I'm offended. We had a good laugh with each other. The thing is, they can't avoid differences. They'll always be there and they'll be. The thing is, you can't force people to like people they don't like. It's dangerous. I'd rather have an honest enemy than a false friend. I'd rather have somebody that told me they didn't like me and I were a dick than somebody that said, oh, hey, come on, we'll do this. But why you don't fucking like me? That, I can't remember, to be honest, Scooby. It may have done. I know there was a pub or a restaurant out over the tops, and they had an old Pullman coach outside the front. Perhaps that's the one you're thinking of. I think that was the other side of Bolton. I think it was out on your way over to Blackpool or Southport, that one. They had a Pullman railway coach for dining outside the pub. In fact, I'm pretty sure the way you've put it, that'll be it. And no, it wasn't Smithers. Smithers coaching house was as in the medieval meaning of a coach pulled by horses, because it's an old Tudor timbered building. Something similar to Rivy Barn. Yeah, I'm sure that's the one we both thinking of, Scooby, because there were a local pub and it did have a Pullman railway coach in the car park, and they used it for dining at the pub. I remember that were there for quite a while, that. It were there in the 70s, 80s, and I think it might have gone through to the 90s just. But it were definitely there 70s, 80s. Because I always said at one point to me dad, can we stop there at some point? And he never did. So I were a bit pissed off and I liked to go. Anyway, I might have 10 minutes, quarter of an hour more, then calling a night. We've done well. We've had 2.25 hours. I might take it to 2.5. Yeah, the thing is as well, Val, is if you remove it, where are you going to put some at that size? There was a guy at the East Lancashire Railway. I'm going back to the mid-90s now. He actually screwed it up for himself, because he was on a damn good screw. He converted a BR Mark 1 coach into his house. And it was beautiful. He had a living room, toilet, bathroom. He had a kitchen, bedroom. It was absolutely gorgeous. And they'd even sited it for him. And in exchange for living there, he did the security for him. And which were fine, worked out well. But they discovered him. He was filming women and taking photographs of women. He had what he'd done. He'd made a memorial garden to his wife, but it backed onto a toilet. And because he were always there, he'd cut an hole in back of the toilet or whatever. And he'd set a camera up and he was filming women going to the toilet. Anyway, they found out, they kicked him off the railway. His carriage off, he'd have been nicked by police and everything. But what an idiot. I'm not kidding, that'd be an ideal life for me. Having your own railway carriage as an house, sited on one of the premier steam railways. All you have to do is sit on your doorstep in morning and you can watch steam. Well, you don't even have to go to the doorstep. All we had to do was watch steam engines and diesels going down the actual preserved railway line. He could see them from his living room. Thought, what an idiot. Yeah, it'd piss off the neighbours, Scooby. Yeah, it is it. I can't remember the exact location, but yeah, I remember it. But that one he did as a full house, lads. Oh, it was beautiful. He had a wood burning stove in there. He cooked all his meals on wood burning stove, and it was a beautiful setup. They'd have probably been watching him and that, but can you imagine the sights you'd have seen though? Because you wouldn't get choice, would you? It's just who went. Some of them had, some of them had been. How was it Sean Locke put it? Got to be careful here. It's a challenging. Sean Locke was so funny, God bless him. Yeah, he did it. What's her name? Rachel Riley. She had an hat on with arms on, and she had a mask over her face, mittens on. And Sean Locke just goes, "That's a challenging one." Oh, he was funny. Yeah, he'd give himself away one way or another. Oh, Rachel Riley, she's such a stunning woman. She's beautiful. And she's not stuck up at all. She's got a red hot sense of humour. I suppose you have to putting up with Sean Locke. He was a genius comedian, Sean. Lost far too early. The tiger that went for a pint. Oh, I was doubled over first time I saw that. Carrot in a box. Oh, what's his name? He really pissed that. What's he called? John something or John Richardson. If ever there was an annoying prick, he's like, no wonder his wife's left him. He must be nearing. He must be near impossible to live with. He's a proper arsehole. He can be funny as a comedian, but living with it's a different matter. You could live with. There's a lot of comedians you could live with, like Billy Connolly. His sense of humour, it's out there, and he's a down to earth guy. And he talks to anyone. It doesn't matter whether they're rich or they've not got a penny on the street and they're on the street. Billy will talk to them. And you look at him now, God bless him, and you think, he's still going and he's plodding on, but you think, I remember you as a young, vibrant man, Billy. And he's still got that wicked twinkle in his eye and the mischief and that. And he's still as funny, but you can see the age is catching up with him now. Bless him, like all of us. Like he's getting a bit of a shuffle to him and everything. Yeah, bloody hell. That, joking apart, Raymond, that is how a lot of them give themselves away. Yeah, I do like Jimmy Carr, pal. He has actually said, Jimmy Carr, he said, I've already told the joke that'll get me cancelled. Because he knows these idiots will cancel them. Which begs the question, why do people turn him on or go to see his shows when they know what he does and they know they'll get offended by it? Surely that's down to them, not him. Like, here's the thing with some of the humour Jimmy Carr comes out with, and to a degree, the Scots comedian and all, Frankie Boyle. I don't agree with all the humour, but that doesn't mean to say they're not allowed to say it because others will. I find some have gone over the line, but that's my individual sense of humour. Other people may like it. So do I cancel it? Because he's gone over my personal boundary on sense of humour? No, because that's up to me as an individual. I can either say, well, that weren't to my taste, and enjoy the 10 jokes that are to my taste that he tells, or I can get upset and try and get him cancelled. Who benefits? For one joke you found offensive, you're missing out on 10 jokes you don't find offensive. Special kind of idiots, some of these now. It's all subjective. The thing is, with offensive comedians, they can tell 30 offensive jokes, and 29 of the subjects you won't have been affected by, and you find them funny as well. But you have that one subject that he tells a joke about they have been affected by. That's not his fault. That's just something that's happened in your life, and you to come to terms with it. Not him and not the rest of the people. It's you that's to come to terms with it. I've had shit go on in my life, and people have told jokes about shit that's gone on in my life. If it's been close to it, I get upset, but it's not enough to cancel him. Bernard Manning was a very, very good comedian. He was one of the top in the game. And he told offensive stuff, but at the same time, he was friend. A lot of people called him racist, and he was friends with a lot of people of them races and stuff. It's just like Chubby does it, Chubby Brown. He's told stuff about. He goes in Indian restaurants and stuff, Chubby, and he'll have a laugh with the lads. There's no malice towards them. But it's our differences, and people People have done it since the beginning of time. If Mick were in, he'd tell you. I'm good friends with Mick from England. Now, the English will tell Irish jokes. Now, if you go across to Ireland, the Irish need a butt of the jokes. So they tell currymen jokes. Like, it'll be, there was someone from here, someone from there, and a curryman. The curryman's the butt of the end of the joke in Ireland. So everybody has somebody that's the butt of a joke. Yeah, Chubby tells that one. I used to like Jethro. He insulted his audience, but he was so good at it. Jethro, he said, he used to come on the stage, Jethro, and he'd go, I've had a shit of a week. He said, fucking her indoors, I hate her. He says, I absolutely hate her. He said, she's an ugly bitch. And he'll pick a woman out on the front row and he'll say to her, she's uglier than you. And then he'll do a bit more of his routine and he'll come back again, look at the woman for a second time like that and go, no, she isn't. And you nearly die when he does it. But he actually picks someone out of the audience, and people need to get a thick skin and realise there's worse thing in the world that can happen to you than a joke being told about you. That's why the Scottish wear kilts. It doesn't startle the sheep. Work it out. Kilts don't have a zip. But yeah, I think for tonight I'll call it a night because I want to shower for work. Oh, got all the sheep jokes. All right, Andy. Denzel Penworthy. Oh, brilliant. I'll leave you with one to check out on YouTube. And it's fantastic. It's a Jim Davidson one. And he was good friends with Jethro. So I'll guarantee he got it off Jethro. And it's the Cornish pub joke. Honest, you go on YouTube and search for the Cornish pub joke. And it's Jim Davidson. And there's no video to it because you're meant to hear it in the dark. So you can hear. But Jim Davidson tells it perfect. And he'll have you doubled over. Like him again, he was a good comedian, and they all went, "Oh, you're racist," and everything. They don't, without even knowing how he started out in comedy. He started out, Jim Davidson, the old scream racist, about Chalky. The way he started out, he was a landlord of a pub, comes out and he were a window cleaner, Jim Davidson, and he's washing the pub windows. And the pub landlord, he says, "I'm in fucking shit tonight." And Jim Davidson says, "Why?" He said, "I've not got an act for tonight." He said, "What did you have booked in?" He said, "I had a comedian." And Jim Davidson, without even thinking, went, "I'm a comedian." And he says, "Can you do tonight for us?" And he went, "Yeah." And he said, "Shit." Then he walked off and he said, "Shit, I didn't think that through." He says, I've never done anything on stage before. And he says, I went and gave it a go. And he said, I were up on stage. And he said, I did notice when I was looking round, he said, me act was dying on its arse. And he said, and I was looking round the room. And he said, and I noticed eventually they were pretty much the only white guy in there. And he said, "Shit, I've got to do something here." He said, "I've got to make this work." And he said it were at that point he invented Chalky. And he said, I'd started doing the Chalky impression, working it into me jokes. And he said they were in absolute hysterics. He said the show went down a bomb. And he says, "Landlord, do you want to do it again?" and everything. And that's what started Jim Davidson off in comedy. Anyway, lads, I've gone past the time I said I was gonna. And once again, it's been a good evening. Sorry you're only just getting in, Andy, and I'm off. If you can get in earlier, that'd be good. Next time I'm on, but we've been in over 2.5 hours now. And I've got to sort my uniform out for work and get going. So I'll thank everybody who's been in for the support. Been a good night, had a few laughs again. And I'll catch you on the next one. Tatty pie, everyone. Tatty pie, been a lovely evening. Many thanks to all again. Bye.